So the day after the assassination attempt on Trump, uh, Biden decided to come out with a pre-recorded video to try and cool down the political flames that were happening and are happening. Let's listen to him and see what he has to say. Again, this was pre-recorded. This was not live that he shared this. So what you get is the best of the recordings. Former Probably the motive was to kill Trump. Okay, so we put out a bit of a laundry list there. Let us go through a few of them. Um, January 6th, Trump gave a speech. During his speech, some people decided that they wanted to go tear down some barricades. So that when the speech ended, all of a sudden when the crowd decided to head north towards the Capitol, the barricades were already down, so they didn't realize that they were trespassing. One of those people was Ray Epps, who the night before was trying to get people ready to go into the Capitol on Jan 6th. And then again on the morning of Jan 6th, again, while Trump was speaking, he was yelling to people that they're going into the Capitol, into the Capitol. Trump never said that they should go into the Capitol. He said, peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard. Now, if you're leading a riot or an insurrection, normally you don't say, let's peacefully and patriotically make our voices heard. The other thing about that is Trump's whole plan was for Pence to not accept the certified electors from a few of the states like Georgia. I think possibly also Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, or was it Minnesota? I don't know. There were a few. Also Arizona. He wanted there to be recounts and some audits of those elections because it seemed like there was a little bit of shenanigans going on. Now, if that's what he wanted, would it help his cause for there to be a riot on the Capitol, scaring all the representatives and causing them to flee in concern for their own lives? Probably not. I wouldn't think so. So anyway, there's a lot of questions about January 6th, and as soon as we get all the videotapes, because we still don't have all those videotapes, we're probably going to see even more exoneration for the crowd. We will see even more that there were certain individuals that were instigating all of it. There were Capitol Police that were lobbing percussion and smoke grenades into the crowd. The scaffolding that went up, or the gallows, you'd probably be able to see from that videotape that the gallows was like 3 feet tall and couldn't have hung a midget. Yeah, I can't wait for those videotapes to be shown, but that probably won't happen until after this election, if they're ever shown. But every time more tapes have been released, more people have been exonerated. Gretchen Whitmer. Let's go with that one. Gretchen Whitmer, all of the people that were part of that kidnapping plot, their cases have been dismissed. Why? Because it was entrapment. Because of the 24 people involved in that kidnapping plot, 12 of them were government informants. And that group, a lot of the people in that group got so disgusted with the government informants trying to push for a kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer that they left the group. So and the lead agent in that whole farce, after it was wrapped up, he got transferred to Washington not too long before January 6th. And if you look at the Gretchen Whitmer plot and Jan 6th, there's a lot of similarities there that you might want to look at. Pelosi's husband, that was weird, super weird. I watched the police camera footage of that, and the intruder and Paul Pelosi went to the door together to talk to the police. Pelosi had a drink in his hands, or in his hand, and the intruder, I think he was holding on to like the forearm of Paul Pelosi as well. It was weird. It was super weird. I don't even know what to think about that one. But when they did a little bit of a deep dive into that guy's past, he's a bit of a leftist. I think he had some not nice things to say about Trump, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's from San Francisco, so I think he was either a Democrat or independent. Nothing to do with politics at all, as far as anybody could see. But because Paul Pelosi was the speaker's husband at that point in time, well, they're still married, but Pelosi was the speaker at that point in time and he was her husband, it became political, even though nothing showed that it was political at all. So everything that Biden brought up was either seeming to be a Fed op of some sort, not political at all, and just weird, and we don't have the full story and probably never will, or that there was the intimidation of election officials. I'm assuming that was in reference to Trump talking to Raffensperger in Georgia, the Secretary of the State, and saying, I want you to look at these ballots and make sure it's a fair election. And because of that, it's an election interference, I guess, even though that's part of the president's responsibility is to make sure that elections are run fairly and correctly. Anyway, let's move on. So I'll show a few things after this video about violence, calling for violence, and things like that. Um, yeah, we'll just continue. Oh my! The battle box. Let's rewind that for just a sec. The rule of law is respected. This guy's DOJ has targeted Trump on so many different things. Just today, actually, Judge Cannon in the Florida, the classified documents case, she reversed or she dismissed the case because I think for a few different reasons, but one of them because Jack Smith was not constitutionally appointed to the office that he was trying to hold. But Merrick Garland, the Attorney General for the Department of Justice, said time and time again that he was properly in place. So the Biden administration flaunts the law at every turn. Anyway. So, so that's Biden's speech. Again, I'm pretty sure that was pre-recorded, and he made a couple gaffes there, talking about the battle box instead of the ballot box. Anyway, he talked about cooling down the political rhetoric. So here's a guy that didn't have a problem with heated political rhetoric. Yeah, he goes on and says that it's not all Republicans; it's just the MAGA Republicans that are a threat to everything we hold dear. So that was fairly heated, and there are endless recordings of people calling for Trump to be eliminated, for Trump to be taken out, for MAGA Republicans to be persecuted and prosecuted. Punch a Nazi was something that a lot of people enjoyed saying. Here's something that a lot of magazines put out. There, that doesn't look like a cooling down of things. There's Trump as Hitler, Trump as Hitler, Trump as KKK. I don't know what that was. Trump's a dictator. Trump's going to blow up the world. Trump is Dr. Evil. Trump is super corrupt. Trump's going to end America. President Biden. Oh, actually, Joe Biden. Which one was first? Yeah. Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He is a threat to our freedom. He is a threat to our democracy. He is literally a threat to everything America stands for. And then 2.5 weeks later, there is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation. It is not America. We cannot allow this to happen. But just before, or 2 weeks before, a threat to everything America stands for. There's been a lot of talk about people, if I could just go back in time and take out Hitler, everybody would be happy. If I could just go back in time and take out Stalin or Mao or Pol Pot or any of those dictators back then, people would be cheering you on. So when you use this type of rhetoric for your political opponent, and people are primed to go, if I can take someone out that's literally a threat to everything, that's a good thing then, right? Actually, let's go back to this. This is Benny Thompson, representative. Uh, is it Alabama? I can't remember where he's a representative for. He put forth a bill called the Disgraced Act, which attempted to remove. Actually, the Disgraced Act stands for Denying Infinite Security and Government Resources Allocated Toward Convicted and Extremely Dishonorable Former Protectees Act, or the Disgraced Act. So the goal of that was to remove Secret Service from anyone that had Secret Service protection and was convicted of a crime. Yeah, convicted of a crime of some sort. I'm assuming a felony, and that they really tried pushing for that right about the same time that Trump was being convicted of his 34 felonies that are probably all going to be overturned now, so they could pull Secret Service from him. Kind of interesting that 2 days ago Trump had an assassination attempt. So was Bernie, or sorry, that was Benny trying to make sure that he didn't have security, so that that attempt was a little bit easier. I'm not saying that Benny was involved in the attempt. I'm just saying that why would you care if someone has Secret Service protection unless you want harm done to him? So here's a Staten Island GOP press conference. I really enjoyed this. Let me play this for you. So I really like what this guy is saying here. We should always be able to denounce violence, no matter what. We should also be able to defend ourselves from said violence. That's why we have, one of the reasons why we have the Second Amendment is to protect ourselves from violence. So yeah, I really like that. Um, if we wait to see what motivations are of the people, and we don't come out and immediately say we denounce any violence, maybe more violence will happen. Biden's saying we need to tone down the rhetoric. Maybe he shouldn't start with the rhetoric. It's been 3.5 years of him saying that the MAGA Republicans are a threat to our democracy, to our way of life, to the very existence of America. That's some pretty strong rhetoric that really has caused a lot of fear from the MAGA Republicans, really. They're concerned that they're going to be targeted or thrown in jail if they even attended January 6th at all. So here's what John Rich said. He's a fairly famous country singer. No riots, no looting, no destruction in Pennsylvania or anywhere else today by Trump supporters. This is the difference between the two sides. Reverse the situation. Tell me what would be happening right now. And that's exactly it. When George Floyd happened, who was rioting? When Kavanaugh was being selected as a Supreme Court justice, what was happening? Was it March 15th? Or was it May 15th? Around the time of the George Floyd stuff, there was the church across the street from the White House that presidents for more than 100 years had been visiting. It was firebombed. Was it the right that was doing that? No, of course not. It was the radical leftists. They are the crazy ones. They are the extreme ones. They are the violent ones. The right wing, the conservatives are not the radicals, and I don't know the last time they have been the radicals. It's always the left wing. And the more people that we can help understand that, the better our country will be. Because we do need the violence toned down. We need the political rhetoric cooled down so that those on the left that are falling for all these lies from the corporate media aren't pushed as hard to try and kill the people that just want to be left alone. But that's what I have to say about that. Again, if you'd like me to share stuff that's a little bit more local to Oneida County, please let me know. If you have any stories that you'd like me to work on, if you could subscribe on YouTube or Rumble or both. I'm on both sites, and always like and share this with other people if you find what I have to say informative or maybe interesting. Please share it with everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.